This has to be one of my favorite things to do. After a long, kind of stressful day, just come and relax and play a little bit of old Minecraft. Specifically, to go caving. One of my favorite parts about older versions of Minecraft is definitely caving. I've always enjoyed it, but I think as the versions have kind of gone on and the years have gone by, I think caving has become a little less as ambitious as it was. Of course, now there's really massive caves that even back then I couldn't even imagine exploring. But I think I've lost my enthusiasm with exploring these caves due to just the over kind of repetitiveness. I think I find older caves to be a lot more fun to explore just because they're very winding and you really don't know where everything is going to lead, like this right here. You know, sure, you might find a cave here and there in modern versions to be like this. In these older versions, you really find little spots like this that go down and could lead to massive, massive parts of the cave. It seems like there's something right below here. Probably a zombie. Make my way down here. See, like I said, ooh, that scared me right there. Like I said, things like this you don't really find in modern versions anymore. It's all become kind of obsolete, and now there's just giant caves with massive openings. These kind of make you feel really claustrophobic and like you're actually in a cave. Because if you think about it, caves in real life, while yes, they can be massive, they're really going to be claustrophobic. I know one thing that I always think about, and I know a lot of people kind of were talking about, is the cave diving videos. How people could fit themselves in such tight spots and actually enjoy that. I really don't know how people could do that. Even watching those videos, my hands start to sweat and I get a sense of anxiety just from watching. And I think that says a lot about kind of who you have to be. I don't like how he's staring, but the kind of person you have to be. It takes a lot of bravery to do something like that. And like I said, as much as people enjoy it, I could never even think about doing something like that. But these caves really remind me of that. They do give me a little bit of anxiety, especially since it's so dark in these older versions. You know, you never know what's going to be around each corner. It goes off that way. Let's start collecting some of this ore. It's kind of something that helps me take my mind off of things. Ooh, hello there. Especially when I've been stressed out or after a long day, I kind of like to just put like a video on and just go mining. I still strip mine here and there, but I don't know. I only use strip mining to get an abundance of cobblestone, but I think I find caving to be a lot more rewarding in the sense that you can find a lot more ore easier because you're not just digging in one general direction. Because you could walk through a cave like this and there could be ore all around you, like coal here, iron there, you know what I mean? And I think I find that a lot better to come out with a better yield than strip mining. But I still do enjoy strip mining. Oh, look at this. This part right here comes out right by my little sugarcane pond in the sugarcane farm. Actually killed a sheep over here. That's kind of funny. That's another reason. I feel like a lot of these caves kind of connect with one another. And they're very confusing at times. And I know a lot of people don't like that. But I think that just adds something else to the game rather than just being able to find every single ore by looking down. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, some of the caves from Modern are very, very cool. I usually like to grab an abundance of ore. I never like running out of everything. While I do like gathering materials, I always like to have kind of a stockpile of stuff that I can use. It makes me feel a little more completed or content with my status in the game, especially in Beta 1.1, the version that I'm playing. You know, there's no netherite armor, there's no enchanting. So really your status is kind of defined by how many ores you have or how much of an abundance of one material you have. All right, I've all been back through here. So it's definitely a different gameplay loop than modern, of course. Now, from becoming kind of an old Golden Age player, as one would call it, there are things that I do miss from newer versions, but I do think that these versions definitely kind of help bring back the spark. I find that with modern versions, I get bored really fast. You know, everything is kind of like a task. As soon as I spawn into a world, I immediately have to start grinding to get the best gear, you know, to go to the nether, go to the end. Well, obviously, in Beta 1.1, the nether is a thing, because it was added in the Halloween update of Alpha 1.2. It still is less of an achievement. It's more of just a place to go to get blocks. And it's very dangerous, but you can be rewarded with those blocks if you do go. Oh, wow, this room is filled. See, this is what I mean. You can only see a couple blocks in front of you, and you don't really know what's over there. It is kind of scary. As of the day I am recording this, yesterday was Mother's Day, and I hope that everybody was able to celebrate. I spent some time with my mom and my grandmas. We actually invited my grandmas over, and we had a nice little dinner. Cooked some pork chops, and I actually today, we had one that was left over, and I cooked it up and had a nice little meal for today. But my mom, she really likes going to the gym a lot and kind of trying to stay in shape. She usually uses like the standard Apple headphones, but she's been asking for a pair of Beats or just over the ear headphones rather than just like earbuds. But she's been specifically wanting a pair of Beats. So both me and my stepdad went in and we got her a pair of Beats. She was very happy about them. She kept showing everybody, and I gotta make another pickaxe. She kept showing everybody and making us listen to the sound quality, which they actually sounded really nice. I might get myself a pair if I can save up the money myself. I actually am in the process of saving my money for a couple other things, and I don't really need them. I'm fine with using normal earbuds. It's never really been a problem for me. Although I do like nice sound quality. I mean, my headphones that I use for my computer, like the ones that I'm using right now, their sound quality is actually really nice on them. But for other things, I don't really mind using standard earbuds. But she was very excited about that. We got her the Beats, and we got her a couple cards. And my little brother made her a little picture. He did the same for my grandma's. Now, speaking of me trying to save up money, actually the reason why I'm trying to save up some money is I would like to eventually buy myself a new graphics card. Lately, I've been having a lot of problems with my computer, and I definitely don't have like a bad computer by no means, but lately I've been having a lot of problems with it. Actually, this past week has kind of been non-stop with something going wrong and having to fix something. I recently actually just factory reset it. So it's been definitely a week. And I think a main problem that I'm having is my graphics card. And as much as I don't want to upgrade, I'm thinking that I'm going to have to. But we'll see. I'm going to ride this out for a little bit longer and see if the stuff that I had did kind of fixed the problems that I was having. But if not, I am going to have to put some money together to buy a new graphics card, and they're not cheap, man. Even if you go to like entry-level graphics cards, they're still not cheap. I'm definitely going to get something in the mid-range, but still, it's kind of a process, and it really sucks. It's kind of been a thing that I've been thinking about. Also, with that, I've been just trying to save up money in general over the summer for college, you know, coming next semester in the fall. So I don't want to spend too much money, and this is going to kind of be a little bit of a setback. So it's not the end of the world. I'm trying to save as much money as I can, and buying a new graphics card is definitely a step backwards. See, these caves just kind of continue on forever. Like, it even goes up there. Oh, look, here's some mushrooms. I'm gonna grab those while I'm down here. I don't think they spread in this version, but I'm not too sure. I actually might have to look that up. Especially the red ones. Those are a little bit rarer than the normal brown ones. It even goes up to here. And it's just pitch black up there. That's freaky. I'm gonna stick with this way. I don't want to get too confused. I usually have a good sense of direction in these caves, but sometimes I get myself sidetracked, and next thing you know, I'm completely lost from the main way I was going. I like this area a lot. Kind of like a big open room with a little waterfall. That's actually very neat. I like that a lot. I also really like how this kind of just winds itself around here and flows down there. This is actually a very cool generation. That's another thing. I just think the generation with these caves was a lot better. Obviously, it's been tweaked many times before, but I don't know. This is really cool. Might have to kind of remember where this is at and make something secret kind of down here, like a little cave base. I'm not sure, though. We'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Now, I just want to briefly mention, I like to mention a lot in my videos, so I kind of want to just wrap this up as quick as I can. Like I said, the beta 173 videos aren't going away, but like I said previously, I am taking a short break from that world. I've just been really enjoying playing kind of older versions than beta 173, and I think I'm a little bit burnt out. Not necessarily with Minecraft, but with that world in general. I feel like with that world, I kind of have to, like, always have something that I want to build. And it's not necessarily, like, something I can kind of just put on and play. Obviously, I could, but I still feel like I'm kind of giving myself, like, a chore or a task to do every time I log into that world. And while there's nothing wrong with that, I still kind of want to just play rather than constantly have something to do, especially like today. Like, I just wanted to come home and relax and just do a little bit of caving. All right, I'm currently going to a different spot here in my cave down here that I know there's a little cave at. Now, like I said, there was a cave down here, but I'm not too sure which direction, so I'm gonna kind of just walk in one direction and hope I kind of come out to it. If not, I'm definitely gonna search for another one. But while I'm kind of searching for this cave, the other day, I actually built my little brother a computer. It's actually his first gaming computer. And I built my own a couple years ago. And it's something that I've kind of always really enjoyed doing. I've enjoyed building and upgrading mine over time. Like I said, mine, by no stretch of the matter, is it a kind of low-end machine. It's definitely, probably, I would say, like, mid to high. But it's taken me years to kind of get where I'm at. But recently, with some old parts that I had, and obviously I had to purchase some new ones, I made him a computer for himself. And he really enjoys Minecraft. It's definitely that age. I feel like around his age, too, is when I really got into the game. And so seeing him playing kind of reminds me of myself when I was at that age. And it's definitely interesting. It's something that I wish I could experience again. But it is very sweet. Okay, I think this cave is down that way. I'm completely lost now. Ooh. Right here kind of goes up to the cave. Let's see if there's anything good up here. Alright, this leads nowhere. But down here, let's see. Oh. Would you look at that? A spawner. I had just previously mentioned, too, that I wanted to find another spawner. And now, a main reason why I like finding these spawners is because of one thing. This moss stone right here. Now, this block right here is kind of rarer than diamonds in some cases. And the only place you can find them is in dungeons like this. Like I had used for the bottom and the floor around my sugarcane farm. That was the only moss stone that I had. It's not like modern where you can make it or find it in any biome. This you kind of have to work for, and in some cases it can be even dangerous, especially if you find skeleton spawners. Zombie spawners are dangerous, but skeleton spawners definitely are, I would say, the most dangerous in that sense because of how rapid fire they are in these older versions. But I definitely love finding spawners, specifically for the moss stone. Because, I don't know, this has to be, I think, one of my favorite blocks in old Minecraft. Just because of the texture. I love this old cobble texture, and I think that this moss stone looks great, especially in builds. Got some iron in here, a little bit of wheat. I don't really need the bread or the gunpowder. Or, actually, excuse me, sulfur. If you didn't know, in old Minecraft, it actually, I believe, gets changed in either beta 1.2 or 1.3. One of these next versions, sulfur gets changed to gunpowder. That was the name before gunpowder. It's pretty much the same thing, but a little different. I will take the saddle, though, and that wheat. Saddles are a little bit useless in this version. All you can really do with them is ride pigs, but it's still nice to have. They're kind of like a novelty item. Another thing kind of interesting. Hold on a minute. Before I was so rudely interrupted, another interesting thing, kind of like the sulfur and gunpowder ordeal, is the workbench. Now, everybody knows this as a crafting table, but before it gets changed, which like I said, I believe it gets changed in either beta 1.2 or 1.3. Don't quote me on it. I believe it's one of those versions. Before that, it was known as the workbench before it got switched to the crafting table. There's a couple other things that are like that. Like sugarcane in this version is known as reeds instead of sugarcane. And like I said, I think all of those names got changed in the next version after this. So it's kind of a little bit of an interesting tidbit about beta 1.1 or earlier beta versions. Item tooltips weren't added until beta 1.0, so previously before that, everything just did not have a name. And I mean, it really didn't make the game harder. Everybody pretty much knew what every block was. I just think it's kind of a cool little feature that they added. But previously, you know, some things had different names, and they kind of quirked them and changed them a little bit in the next version after this. Walking on the other side of the strip mine, I'm gonna see if I can find another cave down here. Now, a lot of people are probably gonna ask me why I leave the redstone. Right now, I don't have a need for redstone. I'm not building anything with it. When I do need it, I will grab the stuff I need. But in these older versions, you know, it takes a while to mine, and it's kind of a little bit obsolete for me at the moment. I will eventually do some stuff with redstone, but for now, it's kind of no point. Alright, I think a lot of these caves I kind of previously explored, but I did leave some material behind. I think that's mainly because I was just searching for diamonds. I do leave a lot of stuff behind, but there are some spots that I could see that are still not lit up, so I think I'm gonna try to see if there's anything good in these. Now, I don't know what that was. That was a weird little bug. I just jumped back over here and it was like me jumping in water, but there's no water here. Is there water under this? That was interesting. Never had that happen before. See? Lots of quirks with these older versions. Get a lot of this coal. Can't ever have too much coal. So the day before work, I was at the grocery store, and I have been seeing these mushroom coffees and like teas. And now, in general, I'm not really the biggest fan of mushrooms. So it depends on what kind of mushroom, and it depends on how it's cooked. But I've never been a big fan of the texture. Some textures really throw me off, and I think mushrooms has kind of always been one that really bothers me. But like I said, it depends on the mushroom and depends on how it's cooked. But like I was saying, I've been seeing around these little packets of like mushroom, coffee, and tea. So it's coffee, but it has mushrooms in it. It has less like normal coffee beans and more like mushrooms. It's actually called, I believe, Earth Coffee or Earth Tea or whatever the brand is. It's called something like that. But they also had like Earth Teas. And I like teas too, so I picked them up because I've been seeing them a lot, and I know a couple people that have used the mushroom coffees, and they said that it was a little bit of an adjustment, but ever since then, that's all they've been drinking, and it's a lot better for you than standard coffee. Now, I don't know too much about it. I actually want to look it up on YouTube a little bit or on Reddit and see what other people think. Because like I said, I only know a couple people in real life that have used it or have tried it. And so I know very little about it. I only know what kind of mushrooms that it's made out of, because it has the ingredients on the package, obviously. But I picked up both the coffee and the tea today, and I haven't tried them yet. I'm thinking that I'm going to try the coffee tomorrow morning. And I only bought very small packages. I didn't really want to get anything too big, obviously, because this is the first time trying it. You know, you don't want to buy anything too big, especially when it's the first time trying anything, especially stuff like that, because you really don't know if you're going to like it or not. And they weren't too expensive. I believe it was $5.99 each. And I mean, that's a decent amount, but it's not too bad for the size and for how much of like the grounds were in it. But I'm kind of excited to try it. It's very different, obviously, and it's something new that I think could potentially be something that I enjoy. I've never been really too picky with stuff. Like I said, I have a few things that I don't necessarily enjoy, but I enjoy trying everything. I think that's something that I really like to do, is just try different things, especially when it's kind of unusual. But I'm really looking forward to trying it out tomorrow. And like I said, I'm gonna probably watch a couple videos or scroll Reddit to see if anyone else has tried it and what people think about it. But if any of you guys have ever tried anything like that, please let me know your thoughts. If it was something that was kind of good, or if it was something that was just alright. Now, kind of on the same topic of like coffee and teas and stuff like that, another thing that I really want to try out, it's kind of another like supplement for coffee, is yerba mate. Now, during these semesters, I have taken a couple Spanish courses, and my one Spanish professor was from Argentina. And every morning she would come into class and she would carry a thermos and a yerba mate gourd. She would never say anything about it, and all of us kind of in the class were all intrigued by what it was, because we never saw her not drinking it. And so eventually one day someone had asked her, you know, what was that? What do you bring all the time, and why are you always drinking it? So she finally told us, and she actually had a couple slides on it in her presentation. Now, yerba mate is a kind of, I don't even know if you would call it a tea. It's pretty much like a tea, but it's not made from the actual tea plant. But it's from a specific plant, and now I know what the plant is. I'm just not going to try to pronounce it, even though I did take a couple... Ooh, I heard a creeper fall. A couple semesters of Spanish. I just don't feel like butchering it, so I'm going to pop it up on screen right now. But anyways, it is definitely like a tea. It's not an actual tea. Well, that creeper just died. But it's a plant and a tea that is from, like, southern regions of the world. More of, like, South America and stuff like that. But anyways, she explained how you prepare it, and... Oh my god. There's another spawner! See, this is what I was mentioning. We love to find these. I'm gonna have to collect more of this mossy cobble. Anything good? No. I'll just take the iron. And the saddle. Man, this is awesome. I definitely need the mossy cobble. But back to what I was saying. It's from kind of like South America and definitely different places in there. Specifically like Argentina and stuff like that. But it's a caffeinated drink. And it's kind of a substitute for coffee. And I've been watching a lot of videos on it. And I really want to try it. Or kind of get into it. Now, there's a specific way you have to prepare it. Oh! That scared me. Ooh, that really scared me. I gotta be careful. I only have one... I have no food left. But anyways, there's kind of a specific way to prepare it, like I was saying. But I want to get the stuff to make it and kind of prepare it the traditional, like, Argentinian way. But lots of people drink it, and it's made to help you, like, focus a lot more. And people say that it makes them feel a lot better than coffee does. You know, with coffee, you kind of, that caffeine, you kind of, if you drink too much of it, you have a point where you'll crash, you know? And nobody really wants that. That's not too fun. But apparently with yerba mate, there is no crash. Or if there is, it's very minuscule compared to coffee. So I definitely want to give it a try. I've been seeing a lot of videos on it and kind of really have been intrigued by the process and culture surrounding it. I like experiencing different cultures and stuff like that. You know, broaden my horizons a little bit from the traditional stuff that I do myself. I hear a skeleton down there, and I'm kind of a little worried about going down here, just considering the fact that I have no food. I need to find some more brown mushrooms. I know there was a spot, but I don't remember where. Like I said, when you're down in a cave, if you can find both types of mushrooms, you're kind of set. Kind of good to go. Don't really have to worry about anything. Now, I don't know where these mushrooms are. Hopefully I could find them. Now, I am not collecting every single ore I see. I like to collect a lot, but I think mostly right now what I want to get some more of is iron. And hopefully some gold. Maybe some diamonds if we can find them, but I don't want to get too full of myself. I don't know where these mushrooms were, and that kind of worries me. So I'm going to kind of have to try to not take as much damage. Like I said with these versions, you know, you never know what's around every corner. Things are kind of lurking all the time, and I can hear a skeleton. Oh, man. I also want to laugh at something that I saw the other day. Apparently, I haven't even really gone and looked for myself, but I know they posted it. Apparently, the official Minecraft page posted a couple pictures and was like, which version did you start playing? And it was like 1.0 and then I think 1.13 and then modern. It was something like that. Either way, apparently the picture that they had used for 1.0 was a picture from Alpha, or before Alpha. All I know is it had the neon grass texture, and I think it's a little hilarious. It's in a lot of people on that subreddit were really kind of going at him for that, and I know a lot of people even under the post itself were talking about it. I feel like Mojang, at least lately, has paid no attention to detail with their game if they really don't even know what versions are out. And it kind of just proves, ooh, thank God I didn't decide I wanted to go on that block. That would have ended so badly. But again, like I was saying, I mean, it just kind of shows how Mojang really doesn't care anymore. And they kind of just hire anybody, even if they don't know that much about the game. And I feel like that's what they've been doing. You know, instead of having to have, like, extensive experience with playing the game, you know, they kind of just hire, like, can you code? And they're like, yes. And they're hired. I don't know. It's just something that I think is a little ridiculous and kind of just shows that they really don't pay attention or care as much as they used to. I mean, I definitely think recently in modern times that's definitely been seen by all the kind of useless and obsolete stuff they've been adding. And one thing in particular that I've talked about it so many times is the happy gas, dude. I just, I hate that thing. I'm a D1 happy gas hater. And I think that's like, I think that's how a lot of people feel. My little brother, he loves the happy gas and it drives me nuts. I think it just kind of proves that they've become sloppy and, oh, look at that. Don't mind if I do. Even if it is just one, I don't mind ever getting diamonds. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just something that I thought was really funny. You know, it's your game. You don't really know enough about it to differentiate what version you took a screenshot in. It's kind of ridiculous. I hate this. I need to find mushrooms. Iron's fine, but I really need to find a couple of brown mushrooms. I think I might try to go back to where I first came into this cave at, because I think over there is some brown mushrooms, but I'm not sure. Man, I think I'm going crazy. I remember seeing them, but I don't remember where they were. I think this right here is kind of a telltale sign that I should have taken the bread from the spawners, but I forgot that I took the wheat. So I'm gonna make myself some bread. Completely forgot. That shows how much I pay attention myself. I'm ready to go up here. I hear a skeleton and I'm ready for it. Oh! Huh. Well, that's wonderful. At least, like I said, I made my base kind of around spawn, so I can just go right back to my house and get down there. Hopefully I can find where all my stuff was. I think I remember it, though. I tried to be so careful and got ruined by a creeper. That just shows how much I was actually being careful. I love that little glitch. In older versions, when you're like walking down a lot of area, you know, your footsteps kind of have to catch up with you, so they don't register until you hit the last block and you stop moving. So it's kind of funny when it does that. It does it while crouching too. I think I was right over here. Yeah, I think I pretty much remember right where I was at. There's a spawner. Uh-oh. We might be lost. Oh, here we go. Okay, I think I figured I remembered, but I wasn't too sure. Grab all my stuff now. Kind of reorganize myself. My inventory's so full. Oh, some more gold. I don't know if any of you have noticed yet, like, the kind of way in which I explore these caves. I usually walk through and light up a cave section before I go through and mine. I don't really light up and mine as I go. I kind of like to know what I have ahead of me. And usually every cave, at least one little part of it will have a dead end like this. And I mean, most of the time it does branch off, but at least the part that you're usually in will have a dead end. So I like to go ahead and kind of place torches and see what's ahead of me before I go through and mine all the ore. I don't know, it's a little bit different than what a lot of people do, but it works for me. Now, another thing that I did want to talk about, because I had mentioned it in the last video, I have been kind of making a lot of dinners for myself lately. Like, I've always kind of cooked here and there, but not as much as I have, and I've kind of really enjoyed that. Like, I made some ravioli, like I said, that I had talked about. I made a couple other things, like I said, the pork chop and stuff like that. But the other night, I had made myself a nice salmon dinner. I made it for myself and for my girlfriend, but a nice salmon dinner with quinoa, which I actually had never had before. And apparently it's a lot better for you than like rice. But I had never had it before, so I wanted to give it a try, and it was really tasty. I didn't know how to cook it. I kind of just guessed and cooked it like you would like rice or any other kind of thing like that. I do want to get a rice cooker eventually. I think you definitely can make a lot better rice than over the stove, but, you know, gotta make do with what you got. I also got some baby arugula, and I had tossed it with some extra virgin olive oil and some salt and pepper, and that was kind of like as a base that you would pile everything up on top. I did get this as a recipe, like online, but everything else I kind of just did my own little thing, just because I don't like to stick completely to a recipe unless it's something I want to make from a recipe. I usually like to kind of do my own thing with them. But I did that, and then I also made because it was like a dill salmon. I got myself some fresh dill, and it comes with this sauce. You have to make this sauce. So it was, I believe it was Greek yogurt, dill, lemon zest, lemon juice, a little bit of oil, a little bit of water, and salt and pepper to taste, and it was amazing. It was a really good sauce. I actually have some still in the fridge that I might use for something either tomorrow night or tomorrow morning. Oh, also it had avocado in it, and that was really tasty. But I cooked the salmon, and it turned out wonderful. It was really good. I've really been enjoying making stuff, so I definitely want to find more recipes or kind of stuff to do. It kind of helps me clear my mind and chill out rather than worry about other things I have going on. Being next to water like this always makes me paranoid. It's kind of hard to swim in these older versions, so if you get too close, it can push you right off into this lava. I've had so many times where that's happened, and it's definitely not a fun experience. No one likes falling in lava. This is actually pretty interesting. It's like a little room that kind of comes out to this. There's something else back there, too. I don't know. See, this is why I was talking about. I don't like repeating myself or constantly mentioning things, but this is why I like the older cave generation a lot more. You know, can find little things like this. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, comes out to a spot that I've been before. See, I like how all these caves, they connect, you know? Some way or another. I'm really thinking I've explored most of the caves that are down here in the strip mine. I don't really think it branches off anywhere else. maybe over there, but I think that just ends. I think there's stuff this way, so I'm gonna see if there's anything this way. Grab some of this coal. Yeah, now these caves are starting to loop back with each other. So I think that might be it. Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be it for the caves down below in my strip mine. There's still some materials left, like some coal here and there, and definitely some redstone. Like I said, I don't really need to use the redstone right now, so when I do need it, I will come back down here and grab it. But for now, I think I've got a decent amount of stuff. So pretty much after all that, this is kind of all the stuff that we ended up with. And this is definitely a decent amount. I have a stockpile going here. And like I said, I like to have a stockpile of stuff. I do enjoy gathering materials. It's one of my favorite kind of grinds in this game. But I like having some stuff on hand whenever I need it. So this is definitely a decent amount. Now with that being said, I do think this is where I'm going to leave off with this video. It's a little bit of a longer one, which I do enjoy making the kind of longer formatted videos. I think it's a lot better than kind of making more shorter, contained videos. I like to just relax and be able to just do whatever I want without ever having like a specific goal. I think that's why I am getting a little burnt out with the Beta 173 world. Whereas this, I can kind of just put on and get some little things done here and there. I definitely have some plans for this world, but I'm gonna take it at, you know, my own pace rather than trying to get a build done every single video. Now with all that being said, I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe and leave a like and a comment. It really helps out my channel a lot and will help me to continue growing and being able to push this content out to you guys. So like I've been saying, expect more from me soon, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.